Getting promoted into management is exciting, but it can also be one of the most challenging transitions in your career. The skills that helped you become a high-performing team member aren't necessarily the same skills that will make you an effective leader. Throughout my career in operational leadership, coaching and leadership development, I've worked with a lot of new managers, and whilst every individual is different, there are some common mistakes that show up time and time again. The good news is most of them are completely avoidable. So in this video, I'm going to share 5 leadership mistakes I regularly see new managers make, and more importantly, what you can do instead. Mistake number 1, trying to be everybody's friend. Now, before anyone jumps into the comments, let me be clear. I'm not saying managers shouldn't be friendly. They absolutely should. The mistake happens when a manager prioritizes being liked over being respected. This often happens when someone gets promoted from within the team. Yesterday they were having lunch with colleagues. Today they're responsible for performance, standards and accountability. I've seen this happen a number of times with newly promoted managers, and I've been that manager too. They don't want to upset anyone because they were their peers a few weeks ago. So they avoid the difficult conversation, they let standards slide, and they hope the issue resolves itself. Unfortunately, it rarely does. In most cases, the problem gets bigger, and eventually the conversation becomes much harder than it needed to be. That can feel uncomfortable. As a result, some managers avoid difficult conversations because they don't want to upset the people. The problem is that avoiding issues rarely makes them disappear. In fact, it usually makes them worse. Great leaders can be approachable, supportive and caring while still holding people accountable. Your goal isn't to be everybody's friend, your goal is to help people succeed, and sometimes that requires difficult conversations. Mistake number 2, feeling they need all the answers. This is one I see all the time. People get promoted and they suddenly think they're expected to know everything. Spoiler alert, you won't, and neither does any other manager. Some new leaders spend so much energy trying to appear knowledgeable that they stop asking questions. Ironically, this can slow their development. The strongest leaders I've worked with are comfortable saying, "I don't know, let's find out," or "What do you think?" Leadership isn't about having all the answers, it's about creating an environment where the team can find the answers together. Mistake number 3, doing everything themselves. This is often the hardest adjustment. As an individual contributor, your success is measured by what you personally achieve. As a manager, your success is measured by what your team achieves. Many new managers struggle to let go. After all, isn't it often quicker to do the task yourself? In the short term, doing it yourself often feels like the quickest option. I remember working with managers who would jump in to solve every problem because they genuinely wanted to help. And if I'm honest, I was like that a lot as a manager too. The challenge is that their team never developed the confidence to solve those problems themselves. Eventually, the manager became the bottleneck. And if you're constantly stepping in, your team never develops. Delegation isn't about getting rid of work, it's about developing capability. One of the questions I often ask managers is, do you want to be the hero every day, or do you want to build a team that doesn't need rescuing? The second option is usually more sustainable. Mistake number 4, avoiding difficult conversations. Let's be honest, most people don't wake up excited about having a difficult conversation, but avoiding them rarely makes the situation better. Most managers know they need to have difficult conversations. Many simply delay them. Why? Because they're uncomfortable. Unfortunately, delayed conversations often become bigger conversations. Performance issues become habits. Small frustrations become conflicts. Minor misunderstandings become major problems. I've coached managers who have spent weeks worrying about a conversation. They've imagined every possible outcome, convinced themselves it will be a disaster, and built it up into something enormous. Then, They finally have the conversation and discover it wasn't nearly as difficult as they'd expected. The anticipation was worse than the reality. One lesson I've learned over the years is a difficult conversation today is often easier than the same conversation 3 months later. You don't have to enjoy these conversations, you just have to be willing to have them. Mistake number 5, forgetting leadership is about people. Reports matter, KPIs matter, budgets matter, performance matters, but leadership starts and ends with people. I've seen managers become so focused on targets that they forget the people responsible for achieving them. The best leaders balance both. They care about the results, but they also understand that engaged, supported and developed people are usually the ones who deliver those results. When people feel valued, trusted and supported, performance often follows. Never forget that leadership is ultimately a people business, and if you keep that in mind, it will even help with things like difficult conversations and delegation. If you're a new manager, don't worry if you've recognised yourself in one or more of these mistakes. Most leaders make them at some point. The important thing is recognising them and learning from them. Leadership isn't about perfection, it's about continuous improvement. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these mistakes do you think new managers struggle with the most? Which resonate with you the most? And if you'd like more practical leadership advice, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.